Mercedes loves to brag with their best or nothing tagline, but in the past 30 years, honestly, they made more than a few models that were just nothing. Hey guys, Stipe here with a list of the top 7 worst Mercedes cars ever. People are gonna get mad.
Number 7.
Although this car had sold pretty well in Europe and a few other places around the world, if you ask any true Mercedes fan, they would spit and curse at every mention of it until the end of times. Why? Because the first-gen A-Class is an anti-Mercedes. It's everything that Mercedes was not up until that point. It was cheap, plasticky, badly equipped, and it looked like an ovary tumor.
It's not a tumor. It's not a tumor at all.
So why did they build it then? The short answer?
Money!
Because Europe has small people and small streets, their best-selling car is usually some cheap, small hatchback. So Mercedes thought they could make some bank by making theirs with the use of some good old German engineering. They actually shaped the engine like a wedge, which, in case of a frontal crash, gets pushed between the innovative double floors. That way you don't need a long hood for all the crumple zones, making the car shorter and more maneuverable, just like your sister, but without sacrificing any interior space. Again, just like your
See? The German engineering at work.
except that caused another problem. Because of the dual floor, the center of mass got raised, which on small and narrow cars is not a good thing. Just look at this. Yep, sharp turn and the old A-Class will turn belly up. Mercedes at first just denied it, then blamed Bridgestone tires before finally admitting they f***ed up.
We're sorry.
Solution? Add the ESP and some over-engineered front suspension. Still, the brand's image was tarnished. The car is still an anti-Mercedes, I'm sure you'll agree, and you'll never see one on any Mercedes meetup. Good, is what I say.
Number 6.
The latest Mercedes GLE, or the W167 as the nerds call it, is all things to all men. Good-looking, practical, luxurious, prestigious, full of advanced tech, and with the AMG engine, extremely fast too.
That was 0 to 60 in just 3.4 seconds.
Which used to be supercar territory. So yeah, an excellent all-rounder, you could say. Well, as long as you don't care about the build quality. According to the NHTSA, for the first year alone, there were 36 recalls, which, for the best or nothing, was 36 too many. And look, recalls aren't a bad thing. I too would want the manufacturer to call me and be like,
"Hello, sir. Susan here from Mercedes. We've discovered that on some 2020 GLEs like yours, there's a loose cable connection under the passenger seat which can cause a fire. Could you get yours to the dealer so we can check it out?"
"Why, oh yes, of course. Thank you for letting me know, kind Susan of Mercedes." Then, weird story, a few weeks later,
"Hello, Susan again here. Hey, we found a fuel leak which can also cause a fire. Could you,
"I'm on it, thanks." Then a month goes by.
"Hello, sir. Yes, me again. Anyway."
"Susan, you sound like a man now all of a sudden."
"Shut up. The bit's getting old. Anyway, did your windshield separate by any chance? Oh, not yet? Could you,
Oh, for Christ's sake!
And that's just 3 of those recalls out of the 36. How long do you think before Susan quits because she's been too embarrassed? After the seatbelt failures? How about the water leaks? Airbags not deploying, pieces falling off, glitchy infotainment? Shall I continue? Honestly, last time I saw somebody drop balls, I was watching the WNBA.
Number 5.
Aside from cars, crossovers, and SUVs, the 3-pointed star can be found on quite a lot of commercial vehicles too. Good ones. Mercedes trucks, Mercedes buses, huge panel vans, and as of 2012, the small panel van too. Except this thing, this Citan, is not a Mercedes at all. It's just a rebadged Renault Kangoo. And look, there's nothing wrong with the Kangoo. It's affordable and it does its job. That's all that matters. However, if you're paying more, and you are paying more, wouldn't you expect to get more than just a different front end? Well, you don't.
Nani?
The engine's the same, the body's the same, the interior dashboard actually looks like a downgrade, so who bought this? And why? I'm guessing either businesses who had no idea that the Citan is just a Renault, or businesses which thought a Mercedes badge would uplift their own image. Either way, dumb and dumber. I should also point out that there is a people carrier version with painted bumpers, glass windows, comfortable suspension, and extra seats in the cargo area. makes it a nice family car, right?
Wrong.
Euro NCAP tested one and gave it only 3 stars in safety rating, which is not only the worst for any 2012 Mercedes, but the only one that didn't get 5 stars. Still, the panel van sold well enough that there's now a new one.
Again, based on the Kangoo.
But with more Mercedes touches than before. It's better.
Number 4.
And we can't talk about shameless badge-engineered Benzes without mentioning the X-Class pickup truck. In case you didn't know it, underneath, this was a Nissan Navara, a regular old workhorse of a truck, which, like the Kangoo, is perfectly fine. However, the X-Class is not a workhorse. It's a luxurious urban cruiser that's just shaped like a pickup. Just look at the interior. Whoops, wrong picture. That's from a concept version. Here's the production one. Yeesh. What's with all the hard plastic and around 50 shades of gray? And I don't mean the fun kind. Sure, there were some improvements over the Nissan, like better sound insulation, softer suspension, Mercedes' own all-wheel drive system, and their own V6 engines too, but that wasn't enough to warrant a huge price difference. And so, after just 3 years of disappointing sales, the X-Class was X'd. Maybe if they made it look more posh, like the concept, or, check this, if they'd actually sold it in America, the land of pickups, then it could have done better, but I doubt it. Luxury pickups simply don't work.
No.
Remember when Ford fancied up their F-150 and sold it as a Lincoln Blackwood? Yeah, probably not, because this thing was so unwanted that it was killed in less than a year. But also, Cybertruck, after all that dust settled down around it, turns out nobody wants that one either. Luxury pickups don't work. Simple as that. So no wonder that BMW canceled theirs.
Number 3.
Looking at its numbers alone,
The latest C63 would make you believe that it's
the best one yet.
670 horsepower, 750 torques, 0 to 60 in under 3 seconds, and a quarter mile in a little over 11. Never mind comparing it to its predecessors. Here's how it stacks up against the McLaren 570S. Except Mercedes is a proper daily car with 4 doors, headroom, legroom, a sizable trunk, and the ability to do 40 mpg. 40 in a 670 horsepower car? How? Well, that's because the power comes from a small 2-liter engine paired with 2 electric motors. And suddenly nobody wants one anymore. That 2-liter 4-cylinder may be an engineering marvel that's packing more power per liter than a Koenigsegg, but who cares when it doesn't excite? It's boring. The old V8 models were praised for their PTSD-inducing sounds and the ability to start an avalanche. This one right here, you rev this, and you'll start a laugh track. Most of what you're hearing here is actually fake noise coming from the speakers. I'm sorry, the active sound system designed to fool not just everyone around it, but also everyone inside. It's basically the automotive equivalent of putting socks in your underwear. It's embarrassing. Then there's the fact that the hybridization made it even heavier than some SUVs. The fact that the design hasn't changed that much since 2014, and the fact that there's no wide-body coupe version available anymore.
And well, you get headlines like these.
Number 2.
It's safe to say that Tesla's huge success during the 2010s caught everyone, including Mercedes, by surprise.
Quick, we gotta start making EVs too, or else it's game over, man. Game over.
In a rush, Mercedes allocated over $10 billion, and here's what came out. Their first electric car ever, the EQC. As you'd expect from a rushed project and the fact that I'm including it on this list, this thing wasn't very good. For starters, it wasn't a bespoke EV, but one built around a modified internal combustion platform, which explains why it still has a transmission tunnel running down the middle. This also affected the size and shape of the battery too. Compared to its rivals, which are all proper EVs, the EQC was short on kilowatt hours, on range, and recharging speeds too. No frunk either. Oh, come on! One thing the EQC had an abundance of was the number of software bugs. Not just those regarding the charging and the battery management system, like overcharging protection, random voltage error messages appearing, and the car cutting power in the middle of the driving, but also the infotainment screen freezes, problems connecting your phone, cruise control malfunctions, blind spot assists, pedestrian detections. You get the idea. These things have nothing to do with what fuels your car. This is just bad programming. And while some improvements were made, the damage was already done, and just 4 short years later, the EQC
Was done too.
Anyway, it's time for some honorable mentions. Can you guess these? Built by Alabama rednecks with the precision of a stormtrooper, all AMG show and no front-wheel drive go with the Renault's 1.5-liter diesel. Who asked for a sports van? And now, the worst Mercedes ever made.
Number 1.
What was in the early 2000s described by many reviewers as the best car in the world is now considered by many to be the absolute worst car Mercedes has ever made.
Fucking thing sucks!
And it's partly because of what came before, the W140 S-Class, aka the Cathedral. It was so ridiculously over-engineered that reportedly they spent over $1 billion more than what was planned. As a result, the chairman of Mercedes' car division was fired, so guess what his successor did? Cut cost, even when it came to making the next generation S-Class flagship. They thought that as long as you give it some futuristic gizmos, the world would be blindsided by the fact that it's not built as solid
And out of the same quality components as the W140.
Initially, this little ruse worked, but once all those gizmos started to fail because they were underdeveloped, when the rattles and the squeaks became more and more annoying, and then the rust started to appear,
Come on, man.
the gig was truly up. For most of its production run, this latest S-Class received the lowest possible reliability rating by Consumer Reports, much worse than average. It was highlighted as a car to avoid. This, the best car in the world, was to be avoided? Oh Lord. What Mercedes, or to be more precise, Daimler Chrysler did here was betray the brand's covenant of bulletproof quality and longevity, all to maximize profits. And if you ask me, the hate is totally deserved. Anyway, that's all I got to say about this topic. You go watch something else now. Have a good time. Maybe this channel. Maybe do the little likey. And I just want to thank all my channel members and Patreons. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one.